Hi, I'm Larry Richardson, your step-by-step chef. In this episode, we're going to make one of my favorite side dishes, hearty potato salad. What sets this potato salad apart from the other potato salads I've had is it has a lot of good crunchy vegetables in it, but they don't take over the basic dish, which is the hearty potato salad. I think you're really going to like this. So come on, let's cook. Okay, so here's the essential ingredients for our hearty potato salad. First of all, we have 8 red potatoes. You can also use white potatoes or any potato that can stand up to being boiled, cooled down, and then sliced. White potatoes are also good for that. Definitely don't use a baked potato because they will just fall apart. And I'm going to make this dish skin on. You're welcome to peel the skin off if you want to, but I do like, with the red potatoes especially, a skin on potato salad. We're going to use 2 eggs. I'm going to hard boil these and then crumble them. A 1/4 cup of sweet onion. You can use yellow onion if that's all you can find in your area. 4 green onions. 3 cloves of garlic. Now the garlic is optional. If you don't like garlic, don't put it in this potato salad. We're also going to use 3 celery stalks. We're going to use a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of black pepper, a teaspoon of paprika, and a cup of mayonnaise. Now mayonnaise is kind of funny. There are so many different brands out there, so use the one that you like the most. I like this kind of sweeter mayonnaise, and I know some people like the mayonnaises that have a little bit more of almost a pickly tartness to them. So experiment and find the mayonnaise that works for you. Now let me show you how to put this all together. Okay, to start with our potato salad, the first thing we want to do is take a close look at the potatoes. Now, if your potatoes have eyes, like this one does, make sure to dig those out ahead of time. Give the potatoes a cleaning. Get the eyes out of them. If you have any, unsightly gashes in them, which I know some of these potatoes do have, dig those out too. Let me see where I have one that had that. Oh, there you go. So that's just kind of a tough spot in the potato. You don't want that in your potato salad. So take the end of your peeler and just get rid of anything of those unsightly gashes or bruises or the eyes, just anything that will make the potato salad taste kind of weird, give it a weird texture. So definitely rinse your potatoes and then give them a cleaning. And then what you want to do is just get a pot of water boiling, and that's where we're going to put these potatoes after I finish cleaning them. Okay, so here's our potatoes. They're covered with water. They're all cleaned up. I'm going to bring this water to a boil. I'm going to put the cover on, and then once it reaches a boil, I'll lower the temperature down. Sometimes you have to go even as low as quarter heat and just maintain a boil for 45 minutes, and then we'll test to see if they're done. Okay, and over here I have our 2 eggs. They're just about covered with the water. They're over high heat, and what I'm going to do is bring this to a boil, lower the heat down, keep the boil going for 15 minutes. I want these boiled eggs to be on the dry, crumbly side. So let me just put the cover on, and when it starts to boil, I'm going to lower that down to about quarter heat, maybe a little bit less. Keep the boil going for 15 minutes, then take them off the heat and cool them down in a water rinse, a cold water rinse. So we'll get back to these in a couple of minutes. Okay, now while the eggs and the potatoes are cooking, let's get the other ingredients prepared for our potato salad. The first thing I want to do is finely cut these celery stalks. I don't want big chunks of celery, so what I'm going to do is cut the celery right up the middle, like that, to make smaller pieces. And then just take it like this and just chop it. Chop it into nice thin pieces. You don't want thick chunks of celery in your potato salad. Okay, there we go. There's our celery. Now, as with any ingredients in my step-by-step series, I recommend that you try it my way the first time through and then do it your way the next time through. You can adjust the amount of any of these ingredients to meet your own taste. But the first time, try it my way, see if you like it, and then make whatever adjustments you like. So I'm just going to add these ingredients to this bowl. Next up, we're going to make our 1/4 cup of finely chopped sweet onion. So I'm just going to score the top, keeping the lines very close together so I get a nice minced onion. You don't want big onion pieces in this. This is really, it's really a spice when you get down to it because I'm chopping it so tiny because I'm mincing it. Here we go. And now I'm just cutting down the face. Oops, don't want any of that paper in there. That was actually me adjusting my potato pan. I didn't want it to boil over. So I lowered the heat down and I put the lid on a little bit crooked. I'm keeping the boil going, but I just don't want the whole thing to foam over the top. So there is our 1/4 cup of onion. And next up, we have our green onion. Now, I like to add the green onion for 2 reasons. I think it has a delicious, fresh taste, but it also adds a little bit more color to the potato salad, too. So I'm thin cutting these pieces. That's a very tiny slice. It's under 1/8 of an inch. Okay. And next what I'm going to do is crush our garlic into it. Now again, the garlic is completely optional. If you don't like garlic, you don't have to use it. If you don't have one of these crushers, you can just finely mince the garlic with your knife. I just find that these crushers do a great job of releasing the oil and flavors of the garlic. It's just very easy to use. So it's just taking the paper right off of the garlic clove. Now let's add our teaspoon of salt. Teaspoon of black pepper. There we go. And for the paprika, I'm going to save that for last because the paprika is something that looks really good sprinkled on top of the potato salad. I don't want to mix this in, so I'm going to hold off on adding the teaspoon of paprika. Okay, and here's our 2 eggs. Now these were boiled for 15 minutes, then I put them in a cold water bath for 5 minutes. It makes them easier to handle, I won't burn my fingers, and also they should peel much more easily. And again, I cooked them for 15 minutes because I was looking for a good, crumbly, hard-boiled egg for this dish. Okay. There we go, that shell's coming off very nicely. Make sure you get all that shell off. You don't want someone having any crunchy, hearty potato salad. That's not the point of this dish. Oh, that one's coming off real nice. Okay, and now what I want to do is just get these shells out of the way. I don't want them mixing back in with the egg. There we go. And now I'm just going to chop these eggs up very finely because we're going to mix them in to the veggies with the mayo anyways. So it doesn't have to be super neat, but just give them a nice chopping. Mmm. Delicious. And just go at it with your knife. Give it a nice fine chop. Again, the point isn't to have big pieces of egg in our hearty potato salad. Give that a nice wipe. There we go. Now I'm just going to add it in with our veggies. And now let's stir in our cup of mayo. There we go. And now I'm going to stir this to a nice, smooth consistency so all of the different ingredients are evenly distributed. And this is what we're going to add after we cut our potatoes. This is what we're going to stir into the potatoes. Now, I am using 8 potatoes, and there is a chance I'm going to need a little bit more mayo. I find that mayo is to taste. Some people like more, some people like less. But I'm starting out with a cup, because if I start out with more than a cup, I can't remove it from this mix. So you can see how hearty that is. Look at all those veggies. Personally, I'm drooling. This is the way I like my potato salad. And what we'll do is when the potatoes are done, we're going to cool those down in a cold water bath. Make sure they're very chilled, because if you start to cut them and they're hot, they're going to stick to the knife and you're going to end up with a bunch of crumbly potato. So I'll show you how to do that in a moment. After the potatoes are done, you're just going to put them in a cold water bath and change that cold water. It might take up to 20 minutes to a half an hour to fully cool them down, but trust me, it's worth it. So I'm going to put this mixture back into the refrigerator, and I'm just waiting for my potatoes to be ready. Okay, so 45 minutes later, here's our potatoes, and as you can see, here's our test. The potato just slips right off of the fork. That means it's cooked through, the potato is plenty soft, and now what I want to do is drain off all of this hot water, replace it with cold water, and keep doing that for up to 20 minutes until these potatoes are cool all the way through. You don't want to cut these potatoes if they're hot, because they will fall apart. So this actually could be, a 20-minute to a half an hour process of cooling down the potatoes by pouring out the hot water, putting in cold water, and maybe changing out the water every 5 minutes. So that's what I'm going to get started, and then I'll see you at the point where we'll chop up the potatoes. Okay, so our potatoes are all cooled down. I gave them that cold water bath for a half an hour. And again, that's important because if you try to start slicing the potatoes when they're still hot, they'll start sticking to your knife, and it's just going to be very difficult to keep them in a nice cubed shape. They'll start to fall apart. So now what I'm doing is I'm slicing the potatoes, and again, these are very big red potatoes. I'm slicing them into quarters first, and then I'm slicing them into blocks. And I'm putting the blocks into this glass cooking pan so you can see what it looks like as we're chopping up the potato. Now, if some of the pieces get completely unruly, then just set them aside and use them in some other ingredient, some other dish that you're making. You don't want to have a bunch of shards in your potato salad. So there we go. And you can slice them any size that you want. If you like smaller cubes, certainly do it that way. I tend to like these heartier size cubes. Now again, I'm going to do this for all the potatoes, so I'll be right back. Okay, here we are. Our potatoes are all sliced up. Now we're going to take the mayo mix that we made earlier, and we're going to stir it in. And we'll be a little gentle in our stirring because we don't want to break up the potatoes. That is good stuff. Okay, and then just a nice gentle stir. Try to get all the potatoes to have some contact with this mix. And again, like I said before, if you find that you need more mix, then make up some more mix, just the way we did at the beginning, because potato sizes do vary. And you want to have enough of this so that your potato salad doesn't come out too dry. You can also just add a little bit more mayo to it and stir that in. So be a little bit flexible. It's not an exact science to get the taste that you're looking for, but as you can see, this is mixing in quite nicely. Yeah, that has a very nice consistency. It's not too heavily mayonnaise so that you can't see the potato or taste the potato, and yet it's not dry either. So that's the kind of quality that you're looking for. You want it to look kind of like this. And because we pre-mixed the mayonnaise-based ingredients, it's so much easier to mix it in, because if I had started adding the vegetables individually, I'd probably have a lot of clumping going on. But this way, because it was pre-mixed, just having the potato come into contact with the mayo mix that's plenty. And that, my friend, is done. So congratulations, look at what you just did. You just made this delicious potato salad. Now, one thing I did do is I did sprinkle a little bit of paprika on top, which gives it a little bit of heat, and it definitely adds to the color. It makes it a very attractive dish. Now, if you like this potato salad, please go to stepbystepchef.com, that's my website, and you'll find a printable version of this recipe. You're also going to find recipes and video links for dozens and dozens of delicious meals. I also have a cookbook there that you're more than welcome and encouraged to buy. I am Larry Richardson, I am your step-by-step chef, and I'll see you in the next episode.